Welcome to EPG Pathshala in the subject of information technology and in the paper of open source software. Friends, in this module we will study about R environment. R is an open source environment. It is licensed under GNU GPL and it is generally used by statisticians and researchers. Our learning objectives for this module are: we will get a brief overview of R, we will understand the features, various command line graphical user interfaces that are available. We will also see data types and data structures that are provided in R environment. R environment, in this module we will study brief of R, whereas in the concluding module, that is the another part of the R environment, we will study some basic programming and graphical tools that are available. So, let us begin. What is R? Now, R is a software environment. I can call it a kind of platform on which we can perform various statistical computations. R is open source, it is licensed as a general public license under GNU. So, it is a GNU GPL license. It is basically used by statisticians, students, researchers. They can perform statistical calculations, they can do some sort of programming, and nowadays data scientists, data engineers, data analysis can be done very nicely in R framework. R can be an alternative to proprietary software like SPSS or Microsoft Excel. So, let us see what other features are provided by R. As you can see on the screen, R is a simple and effective programming language. It includes conditions, loops, it can include user defined functions, we can create recursive functions, and we have various input and output facilities within R. So, as I said, R is effective for data handling and it has good storage facility. R provides lot of operators and we can perform calculations on arrays, lists, vectors, matrices. We can also deal with files using R. So, in short, R is a collection of tools that can be used for data analysis. Apart from this, R provides graphical facilities. So, we can create graphs, charts, different kind of line charts, scatter plots using R. The same can be stored as image or can be made for print. Now, as you can see on the screen, R interface is of two types. This is command line interface. So, as I said, R is an open source, you can download the R software. When you click on R icon, you see this kind of interface. Now, when we go into the detail of this interface, as you can see, this here is a command prompt. So, whatever command we want to type, we can type over this greater than sign prompt. For instance, suppose if you want to get help, then there are functions like help brackets, or you can also say help.start to get help in HTML browser. To quit, the command can be q brackets, or we can simply type quit R. So, whatever commands we will type, it can be typed on this command prompt. Usually, the data scientists, they use programs. So, the R scripts generally can be invoked from this command prompt. In future session, we will see how to create files and how to invoke files from this command prompt. Now, this is a simple command line interface, which is not so good for the specialized programming people. This R interface is available through the R website. There are various front end tools, what we can see in the next slide. So, this is R Studio, it is a graphical user interface. We can call it a front end tool which can support R programming. Now, let us see what this indicates. Over here, this is R program, it is a script written in R. So, when a programmer starts typing program, he will type over this window. As you can see, this is program 1, loop1.r. There are another programs like loop2.r, loop3.r, and so on. So, a programmer can handle various programs using this single interface. Now, when I keep my cursor over here, and if I say run, my program will start executing. Each statement will be executed. So, this is an interpreted programming language. By clicking over run, the output can be observed in this bottom screen. This is the console which provides the output window. So, as you can see, after executing this program, we are, for instance, we are printing answer and it is displayed over here. 55 is the answer which is being printed. So, this is the window through which we can observe what is being executed, and we can also display the final output of our program. Now, the another window in this top right corner, it indicates the values of variables. Few variables, they represent other programs. Over here we can see we have used variables like count and ans for answer. So, those values, they are represented over here. So, those who want to debug R, they can use these window to check the values for particular variables. The another window over here, that is the bottom right corner, it indicates the packages that are available, files in your directory. We can also view plots using this window. So, generally this window is for those who want to do some sort of advanced programming using files or using packages. We will also see what is a package, what are files, how to use files in R, how to create plots in the subsequent sections. So, friends, this is the sample of R Studio. It is a graphical user interface. A programmer can handle different programs. It shows some kind of interactive through these variables, and we can also see different plots through this window. So, R provides command line interface and it also provides graphical user interface. Now, let us move on to the next screen. Let us see how to install R. R is provided and supported by various operating systems. It can be supported on Windows, it can be supported on Mac, it can be supported on Linux as well. For Windows, you can visit the website. The Windows binaries can be downloaded, either it can be a 32-bit or 64-bit binary. We can download the binary and we can simply install R. Now, by installing R, it does not imply that we will also install R Studio. R Studio has to be installed separately. As I said, R is a command line tool. So, when you install R, then only the command line interface will be available. If you want to install a graphical user interface, what we call a front end tool, then you can install R Studio. There are other graphical user interfaces also apart from R Studio, but most of the programmers, they prefer R Studio. Now, if I want to install on Linux, again there are various ways. There are ready-made compiled binaries which can be downloaded and installed for the particular distribution, or else if I am using Red Hat based version, I can say yum install R, or if I am using Ubuntu, I can say sudo apt-get R. So, as you can see on the screen, the command for installing R can be sudo yum install R if it is for Red Hat based Linux, or it can be sudo apt-get install R if it is Ubuntu based system. Most of the distributions are available from this website, that is the rproject.org. You can browse the website, and if you want to download a Windows binary, you can go to the Windows directory and download Windows binary, or there are also directories for Linux as well. So, this is how we can install R. R software is very small and it can be downloaded within few minutes. Now, let us see what is provided by command prompt. As you can see on the screen, suppose we are working on a Linux environment. So, we get $prompt. By typing capital R, your R environment will be loaded. So, by typing R, we get a greater than sign. Here you can type separate commands. So, for instance, here this is the line 1 indicates command 1, line 2 indicates command 2. The command 1 indicates that we are storing some string in a variable myString, and in the another command we are displaying the content of myString. So, the output will be displayed in this format. Whatever string we have stored in the variable, the same string will be displayed as output. So, this is how we can use command prompt for typing our R commands. Now, if you are a programmer, you will prefer creating script files. So, in the next slide, you can see R script file. Suppose I have created a file that has 2 lines. So, the steps will be, first I will open VI editor and I will type some file, say first.r. Then once the file is created, I will save the file and go back to the command prompt. In second command, I will type R script first.r. So, this is the command through which we can run our programs. Usually, it is a convention to use the file extension .r, and generally the R is in capital. So, once we run the R script command, you can see the output hello all, whatever is in our string. So, as I said, there are 2 ways. One is either you can use command line or you can create a file which contains set of commands, and the R environment will run each command line by line. So, it will be interpreted line by line and the output will be visible on the console. This is how we can execute R commands or we can execute R programs. Now, let us move ahead. R is an environment. There are working directories. By default, there will be some working directory. Generally, if it is Linux, the home directory and your username will be your default working directory. We can change the working directory. There are commands to list files within our working directory. So, let us see what commands are available to do directory operations. As you can see on the screen, the first command is getwd. It will display the working directory, the default working directory where the files of R will be created. So, for instance, if I am using Linux, my working directory will be home/Hardik. Hardik is the username. If I want to change the working directory, the command will be setwd, and within this I can provide the directory path. So, the setwd command will take some argument. It will take the path of the directory on which I want to set my current working directory. Few other commands are dir or list.files. These commands will list the files within our working directory. So, for instance, if I am creating various R programs, those will be present in this listing. So, when I say list.files, it will list all the files that are in our working directory. Let us see another screen. Now, there is a notion of packages. What is a package? A package is a collection of R functions. It can be compiled code and sample data. R functions can be inbuilt functions or it can be user defined functions. For example, if I am interested in machine learning, R does support machine learning, but my default R environment may not be using those functions. So, I have to use a separate package. In those packages, there can be various functions which I can invoke. So, a package, as I said, is a collection of functions. It can be some sample code and it can also contain data. There are few inbuilt data sets that are provided by R. For example, empty cars is a data set that is already present in your R environment. We will see a list of data sets which can be browsed through the website. So, a package can be installed separately or it can install with the installation of R. An advanced user can install separate packages as and when required. As I said, for example, if I want to do machine learning, if I want to do some processing using computer vision, if I want to deal with some kind of specialized files like XML, JSON, Excel files, then I may require some additional package that can handle those kind of files. So, a good programmer must know various packages, and for each package there might be set of functions or a suite of functions which can be handled through the packages. So, let us see different commands that can be used with package. Now, as you can see on the screen, there are commands like lib.paths. It will get the library location which contains R packages. Generally the packages are considered as library and they will be stored in some location. So, the lib.paths will give the path of the library and the various packages. If I want to display the list of installed packages, the function is library. If I want to display the list of currently loaded functions in my environment, then the function is search. So, when I type search on my command prompt, it will display all packages that have been loaded in our current session. And an advanced user may require additional packages. So, to install additional package, we can say install.packages, and within this function we can pass the argument name of the package. So, this argument can be the path of package if the package is already present in your system, or you can simply type the package name which can be installed through internet. For example, there is a package XLSX. If I want to deal with Excel files, I will type install.packages bracket double quotes XLSX. So, the Excel package and all the Excel utilities will be installed on my system. You may try out the functions like library, or you may try search function. You can see what packages are already available in your R environment. Now, let us move ahead. As you can see, the screen contains command line interface. There is a prompt over here. So, we type commands at this place, and your session, they are known as workspace. So, whenever you quit the session, your workspace can be saved using this interface. Now, for couple of sessions, we will consider commands that can be executed on this command prompt. In the next part, we will discuss programming languages, but as of now, I will discuss few commands or expressions that can be executed on this command prompt. So, if you want to try out the commands, you have to install R. You can start command line and you can simply start typing the commands at this place. So, the next screen contains simple calculations. Say for example, if I say 2 plus 3, R will do calculation, it will output 5. Here plus is the operator. In the bottom part, I am taking variables, x and y are my variables. It contains the values 2 and 3 respectively, and I am performing addition over x and y. So, this is another way of doing arithmetic calculations, and the output is 5. So, this is how we can use command line. This can be a separate command and the output will be displayed on the command prompt itself. Let us see few other examples. This is another way of assigning values. We can use assign function which is already available in R. We are assigning values 2 and 3 in the variables x and y respectively. This is another way of assigning x and y compared to the previous way. Let us see another example. Now, R provides different data types. These are the data types that are possible, or we can use these. So, for example, logical, true or false can be utilized. We can use numeric, we can use integer. It also supports scientific data type, we can use the complex data types. It supports character type, or we can also support raw type of data. So, these are few examples. If v is our variable, you can try out these examples. You can assign true, the value of true to the variable v, and when you say print class of v, it will display logical. Similarly, you can try out various numeric, integer, complex, character and raw data type. In raw, as you can see, hello will be converted to character and the output will be interesting. So, please try out these different ways of dealing with data types. Now, as we see, there are operators that are supported. So, operators like plus, minus, multiplication, division, they are supported, exponentiation are supported, modulus operator or division operator, they are also supported by R. Here for modulus we use 2 percentage sign, and for division we use percentage/percentage sign. So, these are the arithmetic operators. In the next screen you will see logical operators. So, less than, equal to, greater than or equal to or exactly equal to, not equal to and not x. These are the various logical operators that can be supported by R. Now, apart from variables, R also supports data structures. Generally, we deal with arrays, we deal with tables, matrices, and as I said, R is used for data analysis. So, usually data will be provided in form of Excel file. We load data from the Excel file, we do some calculations, we do analysis over those data, we can create graphs or plots from that data. So, R has a wide variety of another data structures that can be supported. For instance, R supports vectors, lists, matrices, that is matrix, it supports frames, tables, factors and so on. Let us briefly get an overview of different data structures that are being supported by R. So, as I said, the vector can be supported. Let us see an example of vector data type. Now, this is an example of vector. I am creating a vector of 1, 2 and 3. It is a 3 character set vector. It is stored in the variable x. So, we can imagine this is an array of same type. I am creating an array, I am storing in the variable x, and when you simply type x over the command prompt, it will output 1, 2, 3. When we use the function length of x, it will output 3, the total length of this vector. And another interesting data type is list. So, list is the function through which we can create lists. Now, the difference between vector and list is this supports mixed kind of data. As you can see, there are characters, numbers, logical operations and so on. So, when we have to use a mixed kind of data set, we can create list. Here we are creating a list, it is being stored in x, and the same can be displayed using the print function. Let us see another data type. There is a matrix function through which we can create matrices. As you can see in the bottom part, there is a matrix. It is a 3 column and 4 row matrix. The function to create matrix is matrix, in which we enter certain arguments. We are creating a matrix which contains values from 3 to 14. This is range from 3 to 14. We require the number of rows to be 4 and the elements must be arranged by row, that is true. So, the box contains the function. How we can call the function? We are storing the matrix in m variable, and when we print m, it displays the matrix. This is the R command line interface. The box contains R command line interface. Let us understand the arguments of this matrix function. Okay. So, the arguments are, first is the data that has to be in matrix, the number of rows or number of columns that we want to create, whether we want to create matrix by row. As I said, the arrangement will be by row, and the column names of the matrix can be given over here. The dim names indicate the names assigned to rows and columns for a given matrix. In the previous example, we supplied the data and we also said by row equal to true. So, the matrix was arranged according to row. Matrix is generally useful for scientific calculation, but for commercial application we have another notion. Let us see what is it. There is something like data frames. It is a 2-dimensional array like structure which contains rows and columns. So, the column contains values of variable and row contains set of values for each column. So, there are certain guidelines. Column names should not be empty, rows must be unique. Data can be in the form of numeric, factor or character type, it can be of mixed type, and each column should contain same number of data items. So, these are the requirements to create a data frame. Let us take one example. Suppose I have created an Excel file. My Excel file contains the employee ID, employee name, their salary, their date of joining, etc. So, it is a two-dimensional structure. There will be employee ID, one column representing ID, another representing name, their salary, and so on. So, if that is in Excel file, if I want to read Excel file in my R environment, I can create a data frame. So, my Excel file will be loaded in my data frame. It will be a 2 by 2 kind of arrangement, and it contains different values. So, I can perform operations like average of salary, highest salary or lowest salary. All these kind of operations can be performed using data frames. Data frame is a key tool for data scientists. So, let us see an example of data frame. Now, as you can see on the screen, we are creating a data frame. So, the function is data.frame and it contains letters from 1 to 6. X is the value which can be from 1 to 6 and y takes values from 11 to 16. So, what is the output? Now, there is one column ID which takes values A to F, that is through letters. When we say letters, it will take A, B, C, D up to 6 numbers. The another column is values X from 1 to 6 as we have specified here, and the third column is Y values from 11 to 16 that we have specified here. So, this is what is a data frame. It contains different values according to columns and according to rows. The same can be for employee ID, employee name, their salary, and so on. So, this is a very important data structure that is used by data scientists. Let us see another data structure. There is something like factors. Now, if we create a vector of yes, no combination, what we can do is we can find out the classification, how many variations are there in this vector. So, there is a function factors. You can see there is factor. When we say factor, it will classify how many levels are available. So, we have combination of yes and no, and the output will be no and yes. So, these are the factors that are available, or the different classification available in our vector that we have created. Let us see one more data structure, that is tables. Now, as I said, there are inbuilt data set. Empty cars is an inbuilt data set. So, when you type empty cars at command prompt, it will display a table. Here there is a table empty cars. These are the car types, their miles per gallon, cylinders, and so on. This is the description of different cars. Such kind of data set and their contents can be available from this website. The bottom line indicates the website through which you can browse through the different data sets that are available in the dataset package of R. Now, what we will do is we will process this AM column. AM is whether it is automatic or not. 1 can indicate automatic, 0 means the car is not automatic. Now, this list is very long. So, if I want to process the values of AM, I will create tables. So, as you can see in the screen, the commands will be my table. This is our table. Table is the command in which I am saying empty cars data set, and I want to process the column AM. So, the output is 0, means there are values 19 values that contain zeros, and there are 13 values which contain 1. So, tables will be summarization of the particular column for given data set. There are few other usage of table as well, we will see in the programming section. There are inbuilt functions, mean, median, such kind of functions are available. As I said, R is good for statisticians. So, there are lot of statistical functions that can be supported. We can invoke functions using the mean or median function call. You can go through the online manual and you will explore various functions that are available for R. So, let us summarize what we have discussed in this module. In this module, I introduced to the basics of R, how to install, what are the features of R. Then we quickly went through the operators, arithmetic logical operators, and we have also seen how R can be helpful using functions, packages, and we browsed through different data structures that can be useful for the data analysts. So, this is the first part of R programming. In another part, we will see how to write programs, how to do small programs using if, else, loops, etc. in R, and we will quickly browse through different facilities that are available for R using graphics and using functions. So, I hope you enjoyed this session. Please do experiment with R environment, and looking forward to see you in the next module. Thank you.